Hey and welcome back. So in this video, we're going to be continuing our discussion on how to effectively source qualified candidates. I've covered this topic more broadly in some of my previous videos, so if you're interested in learning things like sourcing versus recruiting and the best places to source tech talent, among others, I suggest checking out those videos on my channel. But in this video, we're going to dive into a specific method of locating candidates utilizing what are known as Boolean strings. This simple concept can greatly enhance the way you utilize the search functions on a variety of platforms, from recruiter-specific software to more broader tools like search engines and even social media websites. But before we get started, as always, please consider like, subscribe, click that bell, really means a lot. You may not have heard of Boolean strings before, although you may be familiar with their basic use in search engines. We'll cover that in just a moment. But first, let's take a look to explore where the strange word Boolean actually came from. It's actually someone's last name, believe it or not. Created by mathematician George Boole, Boolean logic is a form of binary algebra, meaning all values are either ones or zeros, true or false, on or off, and so on. The key thing for recruiters to remember here is that Boolean logic is structured around three different types of elements. You got operators, you got modifiers, and you got commands. Each of these elements can be incorporated into your searches across various platforms, allowing you to focus or broaden your searches and locate specific pages or people that may be helpful for you in your search or qualified talent. So what are Boolean strings? For the average user, there are already countless search options across the internet, from dedicated search engines like Google and Yahoo and even Bing, to the built-in search functions of websites and social media platforms. But for recruiters, there are an equally overwhelming amount of tools, such as applicant tracking system and candidate relationship management solutions, that also have search functions and filters that allow you to store and track candidates. However, even with all of these tools at our disposal, we know it can sometimes be frustratingly difficult to locate something on the internet. This is especially true of trying to find qualified candidates for open roles as a recruiter. So for example, for anyone who has ever used a search engine before, it should be fairly easy to imagine how ineffective a search such as software engineer would be in locating active job seekers. Even Software Engineer Chicago wouldn't narrow it down much more. This is where Boolean strings can come into play and help you out. By incorporating Boolean elements such as operators and modifiers and commands into your searches, you can string them together almost like a mathematical equation to get more specific or broaden your search as appropriate. This is a simple concept that can be hard to explain. It's much easier to see the process of crafting Boolean searches in action. So let's cover the different types of Boolean elements you can incorporate into your searches. Then we'll show how they can be combined to more effectively locate and identify potential candidates. Types of Boolean elements. There are three general types of elements you can incorporate into your searches to improve their effectiveness. Operators. Operators are the most basic Boolean element. Chances are you may have used these in your Google searches before. And is used to narrow down your search and will include results related to both keywords. On Google, this is done automatically with the space, but and can be used on social media websites and software platforms to get more specific. For example, software and engineer. Or. Conversely, the OR operator does the opposite. It expands results and allows you to search for synonymous words that mean the same thing, such as bank or finance. Not. Not is the most powerful of the basic Boolean operators because it allows you to completely exclude keywords from your search. In Google, you can also achieve this using the minus symbol. Here are two examples. UI designer, not developer. Product manager, -designer. Modifiers. Let's get more advanced with modifiers, which allow you to further specify elements of your search. You got parentheses or brackets. Think back to your high school math class. Remember order of operations? When working through a long or complex equation, operations in parentheses are done first. Similarly, priority is given to keywords or search phrases within the parentheses and brackets. Parentheses or brackets in searches are powerful because they allow you to combine the and or operators for especially specific searches. For example, software and parenthesis, developer or designer end parenthesis, and parenthesis bank or finance end parenthesis. This Boolean string will locate candidates who identify as either software developers or designers and have worked in the banking or finance industry. Quotation marks. More commonly used by general users are quotation marks, which indicate to the search engine that you want to match to that exact keyword or phrase. The search software developer on Google is effectively a search for the keyword software and developer. Use quotation marks to ensure that you're finding exact matches to the phrase or keywords you're looking for, like this. software developer, wildcard, or asterisk. An asterisk after a keyword tells a search engine to include variants and synonyms of that phrase, which greatly broadens your search. For instance, content create asterisk searches for content creators, content creation, and content creating. This can be especially helpful for locating candidates, but it's also easy for your search to become too general using a wildcard modifier, so it should be used wisely. Sources also report that the asterisk is ineffective on LinkedIn and Google Commands. Commands are the final Boolean element you can incorporate into your searches. They help you locate specific type of content on specific platforms or websites. In URL. To most users, URLs look mostly like technical mumbo-jumbo, a bunch of random letters and numbers. However, there can be useful information and key phrases tucked away in a URL. You locate web pages with certain phrases within the URL by using the in URL command, which can be helpful if you're looking for a list of certain types of web pages across different sites. For instance, if you want to see a list of different customer service teams, you could use in URL quote customer service end quote site colon. On search engines like Google, if you're looking for results on a specific website, simply include the homepage URL after the command site colon to limit the search. For instance, LinkedIn's search function isn't always the most useful, so you can go to Google and use site:linkedin.com quote software developer. File type. Candidates will often upload their resumes or CVs as a .docx or PDF file. So if you can use the file type command to locate specific types of files, for instance, file type PDF. Constructing effective Boolean searches. There is no one effective way of constructing a Boolean search. They're fairly simple to utilize, but can get complex pretty quickly. It will require a bit of trial and error to find what searching strategies work best for you. Additionally, the different Boolean elements you use will vary depending on the platform you're using. However, their general use remains consistent regardless of the search engine or software systems. So let's look at a particularly complex Boolean string and quickly break it down. Content and parentheses create asterisk or writ asterisk end parentheses and starting parentheses finance or banking end parentheses hyphen editor. Keep in mind that this is just an example and it may not be the most effective string. So let's break it down. You could use this string to locate a candidate who is a content creator or writer, but may not use those specific words in their profile or resume. Parentheses create asterisk or writ asterisk end parentheses ensures we'll find results of creator, creating, creative, writer, writing, and write. The second set of parentheses define a niche. Finally, we want to exclude any editors from the search, so we use minus or hyphen editor. This is just one example of how powerful Boolean strings can be. Do you have any more tips for utilizing Boolean strings or your favorite ones in your searches that you use often? Please comment down below. If you liked this video, you found it helpful, want to see more like it, please consider like, subscribe, click that bell, it really means a lot. Please feel free to also follow me at Preston_Park, as I try my best to also post daily. Thanks again and we'll see you on the next one.